Let's see some cyber security questions. First is difference between symmetric and asymmetric encryption. So symmetric and asymmetric encryption, there are two type of encryptions. First is encryption key. So in symmetric key, same key for encryption and decryption is used. And in asymmetric encryption, different keys for encryption and decryption used. Performance, encryption is fast. In symmetric encryption, encryption is fast but more vulnerable. Vulnerable means that means it is more prone to risk, so it is not much safe. Asymmetric encryption, encryption is slow due to high computation. Of course, it will be more secure. Algorithm for symmetric, DS, 3DS, AES, RC4. Asymmetric encryption algorithm, Diffie-Hellman, RSA. Purpose, symmetric encryption used for bulk data transfer. That means if there is too much data, then asymmetric encryption will be used. In the case of asymmetric encryption, this is more for securely exchanging the secret keys. So security is most preferred in asymmetric encryption. So whatever data is more secure, for that transfer, asymmetric encryption will be used. Because here private and public key both are different in asymmetric encryption. Security. So symmetric encryption is less secure, so key distribution is a challenge. Asymmetric encryption, more secure for key exchange. Next is, how is encryption different from hashing? See, both encryption and hashing are used to convert readable data into an unreadable format. The difference is that the encrypted data can be converted back to original data by the process of decryption, but the hash data can't be converted back to original data. That means whatever data has been encrypted by encryption, it can be converted back to its original form by using decryption. But in the case of hashing, it can't be converted in original data. Next, what are the response codes that can be received from a web application? So if there are some problem in web applications and sometimes we see now if there is some errors, then it returns 402 error type 402. So what are those meanings? So see, if it starts with 1, so it will be informational response. If it starts with 2, that means success. If it starts with 3, 3 double S, it means redirection. 4, then client side error, and if 5, then server side error. So both are error format. So whenever there are error, you see an error 402 or 502 like that. So when 402 error, that means client side, that means in your system there is some error. And if error type 502, that means on server there is some error, so you can't do anything. Explain SSL encryption. So what is SSL encryption? So SSL encryption is mainly used for secure access of the website. So SSL can be implemented by websites that have an SSL certificate. So this provides an SSL certificate. An SSL certificate is like an ID card or badge that proves someone is who they are. SSL certificates are stored and displayed on the web by a website's application server. So see, now most of the websites are HTTPS. So these use SSL certificate. Previously there were HTTP websites, so these were less secure because there was no SSL certificate issued. So, but now most of the websites use HTTPS, so this uses SSL certificate. So this is used for security purpose. SSL is the industry standard security technology, creating encrypted connections between web server and a browser. So this is used for secure connection between web server and browser. This is used to maintain data privacy and to protect the information in online transactions. The steps for establishing an SSL connection are as follows. A browser tries to connect to the web server secured with SSL. At first, browser will connect with the server, which is secured by SSL. Next, the browser sends a copy of its SSL certificate to the browser. It will send a SSL certificate which has been issued. The browser checks if the SSL certificate is trustworthy or not. If it is trustworthy, then the browser sends a message to the web server requesting to establish an encrypted connection. So that means after checking this SSL certificate, there will be a connection established between browser and web server. The web server sends an acknowledgement to start an SSL encrypted connection. So after that, web server will send the acknowledgement to start an SSL encrypted connection. SSL encrypted communication takes place between the browser and the web server. Next, what are risk, vulnerability, and threat in a network? So, what is threat? Threat is someone with the potential to harm a system or an organization. If someone has some potential, that means they can what they can put some damage or harm to any system or organization. So that will be threat. Vulnerability, weakness in a system that can be exploited by a potential hacker. Vulnerability is that means in the system itself there is some weakness, so that someone from outside, potential attacker or any person, can exploit the system. Risk, potential for loss or damage when threat exploits a vulnerability. So that means if there is a system weakness, then what can be its loss or damage? That is called its risk. Next is XSS attack. XSS means cross-site scripting. It is a cyber attack that enables hackers to inject malicious client-side scripts into web pages. That means in case of cross-site scripting, what does hackers do? They will send malicious codes in the web page. XSS can be used to hijack sessions and steal cookies, modify DOM, remote code execution, and crash the server. Salted hashes are a security mechanism used to protect a stored password by adding an additional layer of randomness to the hashing process. This approach makes it significantly harder for attackers to use pre-computed tables or dictionary attacks to crack passwords. See, what means salted hash? Apart from whatever data you are giving for hashing, in the case of salted hash, it will provide some extra data for hashing the original data. So that means if there are two same data is used for hashing, but it's by using salted hash, its hashed form will be different. Because if there is no salted hash, then hash data will also be same if we provide the same data. See the example, if someone uses the same password on two different systems, then they are being used using the same hashing algorithm. So if they use the same hashing algorithm, then same hash value will be generated. But if we use salted hash, in that case, it will provide some extra data. So its hash value will be different in each case. Phishing. Phishing is a cyber attack in which a hacker disguises as a trustworthy person or business and attempt to steal sensitive financial or personal information through fraudulent email or instant message. That means in case of phishing, some person or business, that means who are not inside of this original business, they try to steal some sensitive information through some emails, through or some message, or through any what link they can give you, and if you click, then they can steal your information. Next is SQL injection. SQL injection is a code injection attack where an attacker manipulates the data being sent to the server to execute malicious SQL statements to control a web application's database server. So SQL injection is mainly used for accessing someone's database server by executing malicious SQL command, thereby accessing, modifying, and deleting unauthorized data. So whatever data is not authorized for access to them, they can access. This attack is mainly used to take over the database servers. How can we stop SQL injections? Use prepared statements, use stored procedures, validate user input. That means you have to already prepare the statements, and stored procedures, that means you have some SQL command, you can use that one again and again by keeping that SQL command in form of a stored procedure. So no need to write again the same command. And each time you will have to validate the user, who is the authorized user to access the database server. Next is what are cookies. So this is very important. Cookies in a web browser are a small piece of data stored on user's device by the web browser while browsing a website. So whenever we access some website now, so our some small piece of data will be stored by the web browser. This serves various purposes, primarily related to enhancing the user experience and enabling website functionalities. So see at first what are types of cookies. Session cookies. Session cookie, what is its purpose? Used to store temporary information during a browsing session. So this is used for storing temporary information. Whenever you browse some website, then your temporary information will be stored. Its lifespan is whenever the browser is closed, this will be deleted. What are its use? Keeping track of users' activities within a single session, such as shopping cart in an online store. So for a single session, it will store your information and accordingly it will give you result. So this is session cookies. As like its name, this is for only a single session. Persistent cookies, what is its purpose? Used to store information for a longer period. So persistent cookies is used for longer period. Its lifespan, after browser is closed also, they will stay inside your system until you delete or they expire by themselves. Use cases, remembering login details, user preferences and language settings. So you see sometimes you store your login details inside your system, that is used by persistent cookies. And language settings you also do now. See some cases, if you delete your browsing data, then cookies is also deleted. In that case, your all login information are gone. So that is all things are stored by persistent cookies. First party cookies. What is first party cookie? Set by the website, the user is visiting directly. So this is set by the websites. Whatever websites you are visiting, for that website only it will be set. Its lifespan can be either session or persistent. So it can be either for that particular session or it can be forever, like persistent cookies. Use cases, enhancing user experience on the website, such as remembering item in a shopping cart. So for online shopping, whenever you something put inside shopping cart, so it will be remembered by first party cookies. Third party cookies set by a domain other than the one the user is visiting, often used by advertisers. So see, this is main third party cookies. Whatever advertisements you see on your websites, whenever you track something or you visit any website, that is used by third party cookies. You also see some pop-up and they will ask for accepting or rejecting for third party cookies. So due to this, you see the advertisement on your web pages. Its lifespan typically persistent. So until you delete your browser or cookies, this will be stayed forever in your system. So this is persistent. Use cases, tracking user behavior across different websites for targeted advertisements. So this is mainly for advertising. Now see function of cookies. So what is the function? Session management. What does cookies do? First is session management. User logins, shopping cart contents and session IDs. So for each session, they will store your login ID, or for shopping cart contents or session ID. That means if you log in, they provide some session for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If you book ticket also from IRCTC, you see some session they provide. So this is used by session management. Benefits: allows websites to maintain the state of the user session, ensuring a seamless experience. So this is useful also because without it, you can't handle any session, how much time you should visit to any websites and until what time you will be logged in and what time after what time you will be logged out. So these are all maintained by session management. Personalization examples: user preferences, language settings and personalized content. So according to your use, you can change your settings through cookies. You can change your language or whatever content you are visiting, what kind of content you should see, this will be personalized by this person cookies. Benefits: enhances the user experience by remembering user specific settings and preferences. You see now, whenever you visit some websites, that type of advertisement you see and that type of news also you see in your smartphone. So these are used by cookies. Tracking and analytics examples: tracking user behavior, page visits and time spent on a website. So this cookie also track how much time you have spent on the websites, what do you search, what uh, what type of pages you visit. These are all are tracked by this tracking and cookies. What is its benefit? Helps website owners understand how users interact with their site, leading to improvements and targeted marketing efforts. So whoever is the owner of that website, he can understand how is client visiting to their websites and how much time they are staying there, what is they searching. So these are benefits of cookies. Advertising, targeted ads, frequency capping and ad performance measurement. So whatever ads are coming on your website, all are coming through cookies only. Enables advertisers to deliver relevant ads to user and measure the effectiveness of ad campaigns. So these are some functions of cookies.